Hello, I'm Carmen Lilly, a healthcare and bioscience academic advisor for Clark College Advising Services. In today's video, this will be a virtual information session about the Clark College Dental Hygiene program. This video is intended to be an introduction to all of the program requirements, the selection process, and some other frequently asked questions. Let's dig in. In today's video, I will discuss and explain the preliminary prerequisite coursework required for the dental hygiene program. I will also cover the point system, which is what is used to rank applicants, the selection process, the application process, a few transfer student details, and lastly, some frequently asked questions. First up, the required prerequisite coursework. This checklist can be found on the Clark College Dental Hygiene website, and this details all of the minimum requirements to complete to be eligible to apply to the program. An applicant's very first step, whether you are applying to the program or are a brand new student looking to get started on your prerequisite coursework, the very first step is to apply for admissions to Clark College. This can be done at clark.edu and is free. The next step for a new student or someone getting started on prerequisite coursework is to establish placement in math and English levels. This is important, and we'll get back to this in just a few minutes. This middle list is all the list of the courses required to apply. If we take a closer look at this list, we'll notice that there is a very specific coursework listed. Starting us off, there are 10 credits of communication skills, which is English 101 and English 102. Next up is 10 credits of humanities. This must include at least 5 credits of an oral communication requirement, as well as 5 other credits of humanities of your choice. Social sciences is also 10 credits required, and this must include an intro to sociology and also a general psychology course. The next largest chunk of coursework is the natural sciences. This is consisting of a cell biology, aka Bio 160, a complete anatomy and physiology sequence, a microbiology course, an intro to chem course, and an intro to organic and biochem, as well as general nutrition. To wrap it up, there is 1 5-credit college level math course required, as well as 1 credit of PE. Some additional details that we'll notice towards the bottom of the checklist is that there are some minimum requirements in terms of GPAs. Please note that meeting the minimum requirements does not typically result in an applicant being competitive. At minimum, an applicant must have an applicable and science GPA of a 2.6 in the courses listed above. Students must earn at least a C or better, which is considered passing in each required course. Additionally, there is a 7-year limit on all required science courses at the time of program entry. This does exclude Biology 160 and is specific only to the other sciences. This does not extend to the non-science coursework required. To apply for the program, there are a few steps, and we'll actually get into that a little bit later. Please note that submitting official college transcripts from all colleges ever attended is required. This is required regardless of whether or not the prerequisites completed were taken at another institution. So if you took coursework somewhere else, even if it does not apply towards your requirements, you must submit official transcripts. The application deadline each year for the Clark College Dental Hygiene program is January 8th. As of the January 8th deadline, students must have no more than 10 credits remaining of required coursework in order to qualify for selection. Lastly, the top 50 applicants will be invited to attend an applicant advising day, and that is where the proctored essay will be completed. And we'll talk about those in just another few more minutes. Let's jump into the backside of this checklist. The backside of this checklist details how some of these courses fit together. So what we can see first and foremost is over on the upper right-hand side, we've got an English flowchart. And we can see that English 101 and English 102 is the minimum requirements for the English composition requirement. Over on the left side, we'll notice how math is tied to chemistry, and chemistry is tied to the additional chem and the nutrition. This is really critical to point out because math is a subject that you do not want to hesitate to begin. Without math, you would not be able to take chemistry coursework or nutrition. We also have the biology sequence listed below. We can see that biology 160, general biology, known as cell biology, does not have a prerequisite to it. Despite that, this is a very rigorous course. We do not encourage a student to take this early on in their academic plan. In fact, the biology 160 does have some chemistry involved, so please be cautious when taking that course. We'll notice that at Clark, there are two options for anatomy and physiology. We have a two-part, which is the 241 and 242 sequence, and then we have the 251 through 253 sequence. At Clark, all of the coursework required for the dental hygiene program is offered every quarter, with the exception of the biology 251 sequence. That three-part sequence, which is not as accelerated as the two-part, only begins each fall. And then we also have microbiology. If we take a further look in the upper left-hand corner, we'll notice that this is where some of the additional courses fall. These are not necessarily sequential classes. Things like the psychology, sociology, humanities, PE, communication studies, those are all still required, but they can be taken alongside any of this other coursework. Overall, all the shaded gray courses are what are requirements to apply to the program. Please note that in order for us to begin planning, math and English placement must be established. Long-term planning then allows us to identify when you can possibly apply to the program. We really encourage students pursuing the dental hygiene program to consider having your math and English placement established and then meeting with an advisor so we can help you map out what you should take each quarter. As noted earlier, some of this coursework is very rigorous, some of the most difficult coursework Clark offers. So we really want to work with you to help you create a balanced schedule to hopefully increase your chances of a higher degree of success. Here in a moment, we'll see how that higher degree of success leads to a higher chance of possible acceptance. Overall, prerequisite coursework can be completed in about 6 to 8 terms, which is equivalent to about 1.5 to 2 years. This does depend on placement levels and course commitments each term. Next up, we'll jump into the point system. This is the breakdown of the Clark College Dental Hygiene point system. This point system details that there is a total of 69 points possible. This point system is what the department uses to rank applicants and determine who is offered positions into the program. It is very important that an applicant understand what is considered within the point system. Overall, we have a breakdown. We'll notice that there is an applicable GPA, which is worth 20 points, a science GPA, which is also worth 20 points, a proctored essay, which is worth an additional 20 points, as well as course repeats, community service and volunteer hours, and Clark College credits. So let's talk about what these things mean. The applicable GPA is actually indicating the overall prerequisite GPA. So what this is referring to is it's saying that you can earn up to 20 points depending on your GPA in all the prerequisites required. So that would include all of the sciences and all of the non-sciences required. If you were to put all your grades into a GPA calculator for that required coursework, that would then equal a GPA, and based on your GPA, points would be assigned. The science GPA is also worth 20 points. The science GPA is consisting only of the science coursework, and we can see that the ranges are the same. So when we pull apart the science grades and put them into a GPA calculator, we're going to then award points based on what that group GPA is. This does mean that your science grades impact you twice, because your science GPA is worth 20 points in and of itself. However, all science prerequisites also factor into the applicable designated GPA. This means that your science course grades will be considered twice in the calculations, additionally highlighting their level of importance. A proctored essay is a component that only the top 50 applicants are invited to participate in. And we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Next up, course repeats. If we take a closer look at this policy, we'll notice that this is specific only to courses required for the program. So what this is saying is that an applicant can receive 3 points if they have no more than 3 repeats of required prerequisite coursework. This does exclude courses that are over 5 years old and that also resulted in a W previously. Over here, we also have community service and volunteer hours. An applicant can receive 1 to 3 points depending on how many community service volunteer hours they have committed to. 20 hours to result in 3 points is well worth the time. Clark College credits. Any applicant who has completed 15 credits or more of required dental hygiene prerequisites will be awarded 3 points. So overall, this is all that the Clark College Dental Hygiene program considers. Your science GPA, your applicable all prerequisite GPA, course repeats, if you don't have more than 3 in the last 5 years, community service volunteer hours, Clark College credits, and then later that proctored essay for those who receive that invite. Please note that Clark College does not do the following. We do not interview applicants. We do not test applicants. We do not require or consider observation hours. And we do not consider statements or letters of recommendation. These are all really common factors that come up in other college selection process that Clark does not consider or use. Next up, the selection process. The selection process is broken into 2 stages. And the first stage goes like this. The first stage in the selection process is to review all applications to determine who's qualified based on the minimum requirements and based on having applied to the January 8th deadline. Initially, all applicants will be ranked based on points possible to award thus far. At this point in the process, all points except the essay points are possible to award thus far. This means that out of the possible 69 points in total, because the essay is worth 20 points, an applicant can have up to 49 points in the first stage of selection. If an applicant has up to the allowable 10 credits remaining at the time of deadline of prerequisite coursework, that coursework, which is not yet considered completed, is not considered. Any allowable remaining coursework must be completed by spring term. Here's an example. If I'm an applicant and I'm completing my coursework in fall, but I also have an allowable amount remaining at the time of deadline, say Anatomy 1 and Anatomy 2, and I'm going to take those over winter and spring. Those winter and spring anatomy grades are not considered. Only grades through fall and prior are considered. So at this stage, based on points possible so far, the top 50 applicants are invited to participate in Applicant Day, which is where the essay will take place. For those who receive an invite, in order to possibly move forward in the process, you must participate in the Applicant Day with the essay. This stage in the process takes an estimated 6 weeks to complete post the January 8th deadline. Applicants are notified via email on file in CTC link by the Selective Admissions Department. Please make sure you check your CTC link account and that your email is correct. Moving on to the second stage in selection. So at that second stage in selection, the top 50 will participate in Applicant Day and the essay. When invited, applicants are given several weeks advance notice and are given essay topics at the time of invite. This does mean there is some time to prepare for your essay. The essay topics are centered around the topic of diversity. As we recall, the essay is worth 20 points. Points awarded for the essay are then combined with your previous points possible. Again, that was a maximum 49 points previously. So your previous points will be combined with your essay points to total your points in selection. Each student's essay is read by 4 college employees and scored based on a rubric that is shared with students. Here's an example. I am a student and I've applied and I have 46 points in stage 1 of the process. I am then invited to an applicant day with essay, and then I am awarded 16 points for essay. At that point in the process, in totality, I have 62 points in selection. So the last part is that the top 50 are ranked based on their total points, with the top 25 applicants being offered acceptance into the program. Applying to the program. For those who are ready to apply for the program or are thinking about applying to the program, the steps to apply are as follows. Please note that this is post the General Clark College admissions. There are 2 parts in total at minimum. Fill out and submit the statement of intent, which is the application, and submit that to enrollment services. Currently, the form is fillable and it can be emailed to enrollment services at enroll@clark.edu. If you do have volunteer experience hours that you would like to be considered for up to 3 points, you must make sure to submit the volunteer experience form when submitting the statement of intent. Next step is to pay the $50 program application fee. Once Enrollment Services has received and processed the statement of intent form, they will reply via email with steps on how to pay the fee within your CTC Link account. As noted earlier, if you have attended any other college previously, you must have official transcripts sent from all those colleges ever attended. So once you have submitted your statement of intent and paid your program application fee, your application will be received and processed by the Selective Admissions Office. They will be the ones who will work with the Dental Hygiene Department to complete the selection process. Email is the primary method of communication. The deadline to apply is January 8th, and it is non-negotiable. Please plan in advance. Submitting all application materials in a large envelope via postal mail is an option, but it must be postmarked by the deadline. If you are mailing your fee as well, please make out a check to Clark College. Are you a transfer student? If so, here's a few steps. If you attended a college locally, please check out our equivalency guide, which is available on the Dental Hygiene website via transfer students. If you are wanting to have an unofficial evaluation of your transfer coursework reviewed, please schedule a 45-minute appointment with a healthcare and bioscience advisor. Please note that we can only meet with Clark College students, so you must first be an admitted student. Please plan to send a copy of your unofficial transcripts to the advisor in advance of the appointment. Advisor contact information is listed on the advising website under Advising Services Team. Please note that coursework will be officially evaluated by the Selective Admissions Office upon program application. If you have completed coursework that Clark College has never reviewed in the past, syllabi of that coursework may be requested, so be prepared. Equivalency of your coursework will be communicated to you by the Selective Admissions Office. Next up, just a couple common frequently asked questions. How many students are accepted into the program? As noted earlier, 25 students each year are admitted. Our program begins in the fall only. How competitive is it to get into? We typically receive around 100 qualified applicants, with the top 25 being admitted. This is about an acceptance rate of about 25%, or 1 in 4. Because the program is competitive, it is possible to not be accepted. So if you applied but did not get accepted and you're wondering what to do now, there's some different options. You can definitely reapply for the following year. We do highly encourage you to work with a Clark Healthcare and Bioscience advisor to discuss strategies to increase your points, aka competitiveness. Doesn't it look better if I have dental observation or experience? While this is great to have, it does not play a role in selection at Clark College. Only factors noted on the point system are considered. Is there anything you should do to be more prepared? I always encourage applicants who are applying to competitive programs to apply to more than one program. Selection is competitive everywhere. Clark colleges do not select students using the same point system. So researching early is important to be prepared. Deadlines can vary between colleges, as can selection process. Make sure that you fully understand the point system and where you are positioning yourself. We do have past selection statistics on the program website, which gives insight into how many applicants have applied in the past and how many points those applicants had that were admitted. Any more questions? If you find yourself with more questions beyond this video, you're welcome to reach out. If you're a brand new student to Clark, or will be, or maybe are interested in it, or you want help getting started, reach out to our Welcome Center at start@clark.edu. They're available for admission support, placement information, etc. If you are a current Clark College student, then you're welcome to reach out to advising at advising@clark.edu. Anytime you reach out, make sure you include your CTC link student ID number. If you would like an appointment with an advisor, you can schedule one on our website at clark.edu/advising. As mentioned earlier, Clark advisors are only able to meet with currently admitted Clark College students. Lastly, all documents reviewed or discussed in today's video can be found at the Clark College Dental Hygiene website of www.clark.edu. www.clark.edu/dental hygiene. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.